Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video, I'll be discussing my thoughts on episode 4 of the anime series Psycho-Pass 2. And my god, what a disturbing, properly disturbing edge-of-your-seat episode. Not since the first season with certain Makishima-related episodes have I felt so put off and disturbed by the end of an episode, as we're basically seeing, you have Aoinagi in this little locked down facility, this mental facility where everyone's stress levels and crime coefficients are being amped up through the roof because of this madman, Kamui disciple who's taken over the place, and he's stripped them all down to their underwear, and he's got Aoinagi, in handcuffs because, of course, the Dominators aren't working on this guy. Whatever sort of crime coefficient and hue colorization and all that kind of stuff, manipulation that Kamui has done to this guy, he's getting literally away with murder. And it's just a travesty after travesty unfolding in this episode because, of course, as they've taken into custody the guy from the previous episode and they're going to be interrogating him, Akane is, they've basically sent Miko and you got like Hinakawa and Yayoi. They're going to assist the Division 2 operatives who have to wait outside, the enforcers, who basically, they're inspectors inside. They were told to wait, and they really can't do anything to intervene or try to get inside and everything like that. There's a procedure that they have to follow. So, of course, once Miko gets on the scene, she's very adamant that there isn't any Kamui, that this is just a string of different things happening. Coincidentally, a delusion calling itself Kamui, almost like a standalone complex, very much like Ghost in the Shell. It almost has that framework where these standalone individuals are being sort of impacted upon and manipulated into action by one source villain, which is this Kamui character, but she's very much calling it into question everything Akane wants to do, all the orders being passed down. She's got a chip on her shoulder, and this is the most green we've seen her character in that, she's very scared and almost out of her element, that, it requires her to be forthright, the way Akane had to learn to become through the course of Season 1 when she's on the scene, and we find out that Kasei, the bureau chief, has basically taken usurped the reins of control on this whole situation from Miko on the scene. As for Division 3 that shows up, and the twists and turns that happen involving everything from a brand new assault dominator, which can fire through walls and things like that in emergency situations, taking out, very wrongfully so, Aoinagi, and, because her crime coefficient had basically gone skyrocketing through the roof with the tension of the situation with this madman. And I kind of called it, suspecting that she would go bad. She attempted to kind of murder or attack this guy in self-defense, though it may have been, but according to the civil system, she was in the wrong. And so she brought it kind of on herself, but being chess game manipulated into it by Kamui off screen and everything like that. And just the tension and the terror as all of these victims, the surviving victims in any case, were trying to make their escape once the facility was being opened by Division 3 and everything like that, and all of them had to be slaughtered. All the innocent victims met their death because of this cloak and dagger, manipulation game by Kamui's hands. It's just incredible to me and astounding to me and frustrating to me. Of course, finally, after consulting once again Sakajuji, who Kane's trying to find out, what course of action should I take in this investigation with this guy we have in the interrogation room, we'll find out who he was talking to. Is it possible Kamui could have been using police drones on the scene of, the last crimes and everything to get in and out unobserved? Was it the holo programming, which basically it's Kane giving Hinakawa the order to look around for any sort of very detailed holo programming and holo presence that somebody could be wearing as a guise and everything like that? Of course, we later find out Kamui was actually inside the building the entire time, probably hidden somewhere. It's just absolutely astounding to me once Akane finally gets on the scene after this whole car ride debating with Gino and Tagane about, could it be that Kamui is trying to figure out how to use a Dominator or its uses, its purposes, the length to which it can go within within the confines of the Sybil mentality and all that kind of stuff, and he wants to see who can use it, who can be affected by it. We find out through his words to this madman in the closing segments of this episode that he's one step further along in whatever it is he's trying to enact, in that, yes, in fact, the dominators these inspectors use can be turned on them effectively. They can be manipulated into being criminals, latent criminals and such like that. And yeah, I mean, this episode was a whirlwind in almost like a counterclockwise motion, whereas clockwise would be positive and just, you know, amping you up and exciting you with the tension. This one was almost counterproductive in that it almost dialed back all of our heroes. It really put them in their places respectively. And of course, the closing screams of Akane, just incredulous at the horror of the victims all having been slaughtered, finally arriving on scene as she does, and no further for it. For all of the deaths in this episode, all of the bloodshed, they are not even a step further in figuring out Kamui's whereabouts and why he's doing this and all this kind of stuff. But of course we have the hints of the "what color am I now?" that the madman asks of himself, of Kamui, who then himself asks, "What color are we? Sybil, tell us, what color are you?" And I almost had to wonder, with this emphasis on what color, you know, the WC question mark that they found on the scene, as they have done in previous episodes, I almost began to wonder if it's simplicity itself. Could it be something far less than what hue color are we? What is our stress level? What is our crime coefficient? All these kinds of things. What if Kamui is simply colorblind and he's psychotic, and that's playing into his question, his sociopathic mentality? What if it's something that simple, that for him, he can't abide by the life Sybil wants for him and has dictated for him as a colorblind individual? Maybe he doesn't see the world the way everyone else does, and he feels like he's got a chip on his shoulder, which involves trying to break down the law and the order, cause anarchy, wreak havoc, and just break everyone apart mentally as much as he possibly can. It's just an astounding, like I said, semi-disturbing episode, and I'm just going to be on pins and needles until the next one to see where we go from here. So yeah, otherwise that'll be pretty much it for me on this. I hope you enjoyed the video and that finds you well, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.